All right. Scott Wiener. You following the Scott Wiener matter in California?
Oh, you're talking about the struggle session for the new cultural revolution? Yeah, that's been
That's what I'm
quite a
talking about.
ooh,
The guy's been
ooh,
forced to stand in the corner with a dunce cap on, writing on the
100%. Yeah, no,
writing Bart Simpson style on chalkboard. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you not familiar, this is one of the most progressive, pro-gay, uh, uh, well, pro everything progressive people in public life in American history. And because he insufficiently denounced Israel as immoral, he was heckled and jeered and kicked out of an event, a
it,
pride
it,
event.
it's hard for me to think that it's not because he's a Jew, but you know,
Maybe Scott Wiener sounds Jewish to me, more
yeah,
Jewish
well, he's
than
Jewish,
Marc
and it's hard for
Caputo.
me. It's hard for me to see that being done to a Gentile.
Yeah,
Uh, but
maybe. I
I
take your
don't know.
point, but if you haven't watched him being heckled and harassed, you should.
Yeah.
And he's done some responding on his own, but he did an interview with CNN today.
Hmm.
And here's a bit of Mr. Scott Wiener talking to the cable news network this afternoon about his experience.
I know we're a little tight on time, but you mentioned other elected officials. I'm curious, in the wake of this, have you heard from any Democratic leadership? Have you heard, for example, from Nancy Pelosi or from your challenger, Connie Chan?
I have not heard from Nancy Pelosi or from Connie Chan, but I have heard from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of San Francisco residents, including numerous members of the trans community, lots of community leaders, just people who are horrified by what these individuals did to me, and frankly, giving a black eye to the trans march, because most of the people at the trans march are not like that. They are welcoming, wonderful people, and this gave a black eye to the trans march, and that is also just horrible.
Okay. I glanced at the chat. He wasn't heckled. A mob set upon him.
Yeah, you call it
Okay.
heckling. It's aggressive heckling.
A mob set upon him.
Yeah.
And the other day when Pete Buttigieg wrote the essay that he wrote about his kids being taken away from him for a day, I literally cried over it.
Hmm.
And I couldn't understand more clearly as a father, as a parent, how painful that period was for him. And what he wrote as a plea to say this shouldn't be the price of being in public life, that is a false accusation that has your kids taken away from you for a day. I couldn't agree with him more. And then in my newsletter, which most of you don't get, unfortunately, I said he should apologize to Sarah Huckabee Sanders and to Justice Kavanaugh, because as best I can tell, and if I'm wrong, I'm hoping he'll correct me, or his people will correct me. He was not outspoken when their families were facing horrible situations. Now, was it as horrible as his? I don't know. I don't know. But I can say that this Scott Wiener, who I have extraordinary sympathy for, I can't find any record of his speaking out when his party and the extreme cancelers in his party have come after others. So while I feel horrible for him, I hope he'll use this opportunity to not just defend himself and talk about how horrible his situation is. This kind of behavior on any side, I noticed I didn't say either side, on any side is abysmal. But the people who are victims of it and subjects of it need to think more broadly than just their own situation. They need to think about a culture in which this occurs. Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her family were run out of a restaurant. Okay. Now, here on the East Coast, we had a congressman run out of a coffee shop, or at least told he couldn't come back. These
Also
are
Jewish.
also Jewish. Yeah. These
Yeah.
are horrible things, ladies and gentlemen. But what I'm saying to those who are now up in arms, all the people who called Scott Wiener, according to Scott Wiener, I'd like them to call Sarah Huckabee Sanders too. Mark, thoughts?
I, I I'm I can't speak to that, but the reality is yeah, this is just sort of what becomes of extremism. Uh, I did I did wonder about the guy who filmed the video and was one of the chief screamers or hecklers,
Yeah.
if we use that term.
Yeah.
According to the New York Times, he's some sort of sex therapist, and he teaches people tips about masturbation. Like a real interesting crew they got out there in California.
Yeah. Not like Miami.
I,
Clean living. Clean living.
I'd say though, I don't remember seeing anything like that emanating out of Miami. And with
Yeah.
Scott Wiener, there's 2 videos back to back of people getting aggressively in his face with
Yeah.
cameras. Like, you
Yeah.
need to say free Palestine. You
Yeah.
need to say, and really just they're being aggressive with him. And it's just there was a term, and I can't remember what it was, and I think it's from Argentina, that was used as a political pressure tactic where a former regime, or maybe it was Chile, elements who would be found in like Miami would sometimes be approached like that. So I can't say it hasn't ever happened like that in Miami, but I've never really seen anything like that. It really does have that cultural revolution struggle session appearance.
Yeah.
And that it might wind up being the biggest backfire in activist or
Maybe.
modern, or this year, I should say, might be one of the
Yeah.
biggest activist backfires, because look at Wiener. He's on television. You even have very right-wing Republicans who are like, look, I hate the guy, I hate his politics, but man, I feel bad for him. Like, there might be a sort of a normie backlash to say, like, yeah, this is not what we want to do. And this guy handled himself well, and maybe we should vote him in.
They've been harassing and canceling people now for about a decade or more. And it's not always caught on camera, and it isn't often involved direct comments to someone like this. But it's the same thing. And they've done it with impunity for a long time. I hope the guy's okay, and I like the way he handled himself in that CNN interview, but I hope he thinks more broadly than
What's interesting is his own opponent hasn't spoken out and said that this is wrong. Like, Nancy Pelosi hasn't called. Like,
yeah,
it goes to show, like, I guess decency and all of that stuff are just sort of, just like with corruption we're talking about, it's situation dependent. If it benefits my side, I'm against corruption, and if it doesn't benefit my side, well, I got a different perspective. And maybe sometimes I'm for cancel culture, and other times I'm against it, depending on whose ox is gored and which side of the ox I stand.
Yeah, I oppose ox
goring.
Anti-ox goring. I'm fine with ox goring. I oppose the ox gorer. Those who only care about their own ox, I oppose that. Cozy Earth. It's just amazing to me that some of you still haven't bought the Cozy Earth pants. I can't really explain it because y'all know what it's like to have a pair of pants that's uncomfortable. And for most of us, our most comfortable pair of pants are some jeans. You cannot wear jeans to a fancy place, and jeans at the beach aren't that great. And yet, the Cozy Earth Everywhere pant, you can wear both to the beach and to a fancy place. So I just don't know, if you're a man, why you wouldn't buy a pair. I really don't. It's kind of a mystery to me. Trust me, I find most pants pretty uncomfortable, and to the extent they're comfortable, I don't think about them. These pants are like a magic cloak. Every time I see them in the closet, I put them on. They're just so comfortable, and they look great, and they never wrinkle. Go to cozyearth.com, use the promo code 2way for 20% off everything on the site: sheets, towels, shirts, etc. But I recommend, for your first purchase, go to cozyearth.com, use the promo code 2way, get 20% off the Everywhere pant, and you won't regret it. You'll thank me. Hey, want to be part of the 2way community all the time? Hit the subscribe button. Great video clips like this, plus conversations like no other, full episodes, and more, always available on this channel. You got to hit subscribe to never miss a thing. You can now listen to full episodes of The Morning Meeting and 2way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.